even though synthesizers might look really complex, they are actually not so complex to understand and quite easy to work with once you have understood the main fundamentals of synthesis. So on each synthesizer you actually have a sound generator, which can be a wavetable or like analog oscillators or oscillators in general. And sound generators, then you have a filter section where basically the sound that you have generated goes through. It's basically like an equalizer where you can shape the frequency response of the generated sounds. And then you have possibilities to modulate all sorts of parameters. So here, for example, I have a low frequency oscillator, which is basically this one right here. So you can actually see that it's running through a pretty low frequency. It's like, I don't know, like a few hertz or something like that. So it will not generate a sound by itself. It's different from the oscillators right here, which are generating a sound because they are basically oscillating in the frequency which is bound to the key that you are pressing on the keyboard, or basically the MIDI input that the synthesizer will get. So, and the low frequency oscillators are oscillating in a much lower frequency, so you can use them to modulate any sorts of parameters. So for example, right here I've assigned the LFO3, which is this curve right here, this oscillator, to the cutoff of the filter. So you basically have an automated equalizer movement or filter movement, and this will generate this kind of change in high frequency amount inside of the sound. And then you basically also have envelopes, and envelopes basically are like the control on your samples, like the attack, the decay, sustain, and the release, basically. So the attack basically is the time the sound needs to get to the full volume. The decay basically is the time it stays on the full volume. Sustain basically is the amount of the volume it will be arriving to after the decay, and the release basically is just the time it falls off to the zero volume again. And this is basically just a possibility to just like shape the sound like on the controls that you have on your sample engines, for example, to control like the samples or the sounds inside of, I don't know, contact instruments or something like this. So you can basically apply those envelopes also to any kind of sorts of parameters inside of your synthesizer.